Hello my friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa. Today I have got a really great recipe video in store for you because we are making my personal favorite meal of the day, which is breakfast. We are also going to be making breakfast 3 different ways, and we are going to be using my favorite ingredient of all time, which is quinoa, obviously. So I'm going to be showing you how to make 3 quinoa breakfast recipes. These are so great for this time of year. We're making some waffles, we're making a little breakfast bowl, and we're also making kind of like a baked oatmeal, but without oatmeal and quinoa instead. These are great for the summer. They're all fruit infused. They are all really healthy, and I think you guys are going to love them. As always, with all of these recipe videos, the full recipes are already up on the blog, so I have linked them down below for you. And if you are not yet already part of our community, before we dive into the recipes, I would love to invite you to join our tribe here on YouTube. There's a red button right below this video. It says subscribe. Just tap that button and you will be part of our fabulous community. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive into our recipes for today. So we are going to start by making our banana quinoa waffles. The base is going to be a blend of brown rice flour, quinoa flour, some arrowroot starch, as well as some baking powder, sea salt, and cinnamon. Stir that together until it is combined and set it aside and move on to the wet ingredients. So for waffles, I have found that the best way to make them nice and fluffy is to use eggs. You could try using flax eggs with this recipe, but I haven't personally tested it, so I'm not sure if it'll work. However, we are going to be using 2 different eggs and we are going to be separating them. So you're just going to crack them open and separate the whites and the yolks, add them into 2 separate bowls. And once you have them separated, we are going to set the whites aside and move just to the yolks. So to the yolks, you will add 1 banana and then you will mash that up until the banana is as smooth as you can get it. From there, you'll add in some vanilla extract as well as some non-dairy milk. Stir that again together until it's combined and you can set this aside. From there, grab your egg whites and we are going to use an electric mixer to beat them until they are forming stiff peaks. I think you could try to use aquafaba here. Some people have had success. I personally haven't tested it, but if you can do that, try that because I think it would work really well. Once you have them into stiff peaks, set those aside and we will combine the yolk mixture into the dry ingredients, stir that all together until it is fully incorporated. And then we will take the egg whites and we will put them into this bowl as well. And instead of just beating them in, we are going to gently fold them into the mixture. The benefit of folding them in is that you are going to keep the air in there. So these egg whites are really light and fluffy. By folding them, we are going to keep as much air in them as possible, which helps keep the waffles really nice and fluffy. So once you have it all kind of folded in and it's somewhat combined, it's okay if you still see some white clumps, that's totally fine. You can set this aside and heat up your waffle iron. Once your waffle iron is hot, I like to give it just a quick spray, so especially on the first time, so that it doesn't stick. And you'll scoop about 1/4 to maybe 1/3 cup of batter into the center of the waffle iron. Put the top on the waffle iron down and then just cook it until the light is indicating that it is done. I like to cook them on medium-high for gluten-free. I find that it helps get them nice and crispy. And once you're done, you can just remove it, put it on a wire rack, and repeat until you've used all of your waffle batter. For serving, of course, you can do any which way you like on top of waffles, but this is my favorite with these banana ones. I like to do a dollop of coconut yogurt. I do some sliced banana. I also do a sprinkle of walnuts as well as a sprinkle of chia seeds. And then, of course, I finish it off with a nice little drizzle of maple syrup. And these are so great. They freeze well. They're nice and light and fluffy. They have a really lovely banana texture, perfectly sweet, and they are such a great way to start the day. Our next recipe is our strawberry infused breakfast quinoa. We're going to start by making our strawberry milk. So we're going to add some hemp seeds into a blender, followed by some water, as well as some frozen strawberries and some maple syrup. To that, you will pop the blender lid on and you are just going to blend this up until it is smooth and creamy. So it's going to turn into a gorgeous pink strawberry milk color. And essentially, this is just going to be the way that we are going to infuse our quinoa with strawberry. So once you have it nice and blended, you are going to just set that aside and we'll prepare our bowl. So in our bowl, we have about 1 cup, maybe 1.5 cups of cooked quinoa. You could also do a blend of quinoa and oats if you wanted. And then I like to top it with some more fresh berries. So we have some strawberries and some blueberries. And then I always like to get in a little extra healthy fat. So we're gonna add some sliced almonds on top, which gives it a nice little crunch, but also some healthy fats and extra protein. And once you have that bowl all together, you can just pour your strawberry milk into the bowl like you would a typical breakfast cereal, and dig in and enjoy. This is really great because we've used hemp seeds in the milk, so that's adding extra protein, as is the quinoa. So it tastes really light and summery and delicious, but it's also packed with nutrients, and this is totally meal prep friendly. You could make everything at least a week ahead of time and store it in the fridge and just assemble your little bowl right when you're ready to eat. Our last recipe is our triple berry breakfast quinoa bake, and we are going to start by making our liquid ingredients. So we're going to have some full fat coconut milk poured into a bowl. Add to that some maple syrup as well as some vanilla extract and some flax eggs. Whisk that all together until it is totally smooth, especially if you're using the full fat. You want to make sure you get all of the clumps out. You could substitute full fat with any other non-dairy milk if you'd like. Whisk that together. Once it's totally smooth, you can set that aside. Then you're going to take a baking dish, and to the baking dish, we are just going to add our berries. So I'm using a blend of blueberries, raspberries, and strawberries. I did use frozen. You could use fresh or frozen. It doesn't really affect the recipe all that much. Spread it out evenly in the pan, and then you will top that with your uncooked quinoa. Again, just make sure that you've kind of spread it out evenly and you've gotten it into all the corners if possible. And then we'll finish this off with a sprinkle of cinnamon. It just adds really nice flavor. And then you can just pour the milk mixture on top of the berries and the quinoa. And then you'll just use a spoon or spatula or something to kind of stir it all together to make sure that everything is combined and you don't have these large pockets of quinoa that don't have any liquid. So just kind of use your spoon to like poke around, stir everything together, make sure you're getting the corners, and make sure it's evenly incorporated and spread out throughout the whole pan. From there, just pop this in your oven and bake it up until everything is nice and bubbly and hot and most of the liquid has been absorbed and the quinoa is cooked. So it doesn't look that beautiful right when it comes out of the oven, especially if you're using frozen berries because they release more of their liquids, but it tastes absolutely fabulous. It has this amazing berry infusion. It's like an explosion of berries inside of your mouth, plus the quinoa, which has a really nice and fluffy texture. And it's just a really kind of fun and different way to make quinoa for breakfast. So for topping, I like to add a lot of healthy fats on top of this because it's pretty carb heavy. So we're going to use a dollop of coconut yogurt again. I also like to do a nice drizzle of almond butter or peanut butter or cashew butter. You could even just do like a dollop of it. You don't have to drizzle it like this. And then I finish it off with some fresh berries, of course, strawberries and blueberries here. And I did some more sliced almonds because that's what I have, but it's also fabulous with coconut, hemp seeds, chia seeds, basically just something for crunch, adds a little nice texture. And then you can just dig in. Again, this is one of those recipes that you can totally make ahead of time. It can keep in the fridge for at least 5 days. Just scoop out your individual portions when you're ready to eat them and heat it up in the oven or the microwave and enjoy it for breakfast all week long. And there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed these delicious quinoa breakfast recipes. I really love having quinoa for breakfast because not only is it really high in protein, but it's also high in fiber. It's got a ton of minerals and vitamins, and it's also just really filling, and it's also really versatile, and it's also really delicious. So all of these recipes are up on the blog, like I mentioned. If you want to make any of them, you will find those links down in the description box below. I also hope that you enjoyed like the variety in today's video. So I just wanted to show you how many different ways you can use quinoa. And if you're interested in making more quinoa inspired breakfast recipes, I will link the quinoa breakfast recipe section down for you in the description box below as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here. As always, if you have comments, questions, suggestions, anything like that, drop them down in the comment box. Anything that you're looking for, any other videos you'd like me to create, any ideas, also drop those down below. I read every single one of your comments, and I really appreciate any and all feedback that you have. So thanks so much. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!